Alright, hello and welcome back everybody. It's Christmas morning. I don't really celebrate, or we don't do much, so we're back on work. So today we're going to be replacing the front bearings and the hub assembly on the 940. This is the same for the 740s as well. I got these hubs on IPD. There's the part number. Aftermarket, obviously not OEM. I'm not sure if you can obtain OEM ones. I don't think you can though. They've been sitting for a bit. I bought these a really long time ago, and finally my front right bearing has taken a shit basically. So the diagnosis is pretty easy. You don't have to take the hub nut off, but if you do, you can kind of wiggle it, or even before you take it off, you can kind of wiggle it and feel it. There's different ways, but the most common one is they make noise. While you're driving, it makes noise. It's a very distinct noise. It's just the bearings taking a shit. So original bolt pattern on the 940s and the 740s is M12 by 1.5. These are the same, so it's just a simple swap. You have to be careful with the spindles, however, because the spindles tend to bend. So I'm gonna show you how I do it. I've never done it on a 940 or a 740, or I've never done a Volvo before, but I've done many of them on BMWs, and they're essentially all the same. I'll be putting the links down in the description for all the tools that I've used. And yeah, it's a simple job. Let's get into it. Next step is we're gonna take this cap off. You can usually just hammer it out with like a screwdriver. So I pried it out. As you see, there's like a little lip on it. So you just put the screwdriver in between and keep on hammering it. That's dielectric grease. I tried to do like a temporary fixation before, so. And then this is the nut we have to remove. So let's get to that. Alright, before I continue, let me inform you guys. There's two ways of taking this nut out. Power tool way and no power tool way. A lot of you, I'm assuming, are not going to have like a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 power gun like I do. So I'm going to show you how to take out without the gun first, and then you can and then I'm going to show you obviously how to take it with the gun. Okay, so assuming you have your OEM wheel, you might not, which is fine. If you have a spacer and whatever, that's okay too. The whole idea is to put the wheel on and obviously tighten it, and then you lower the car so there is a lot of pressure. Make sure the car is on park and make sure it's the parking brake is up, and you crank it with a breaker bar or a 1/2-inch ratchet, like a big one like I do. So let me get this wheel on and I'll show you guys how to do it. Alright, I got the 3 nuts on there. I'm gonna lower the car. You will have to take the wheel off first, obviously, so you can get the hub cover off. But now that it is off, the cover, and we have the wheel and we lower the car, I'm gonna show you what to do. 36mm. This is 1/2-inch. You can get 3/4 or 1/2-inch depending on what you have. Get the breaker bar or your ratchet. Hold up. Alright. And then just crank on it. Oh, and there you go. It's loose. After you loosen it quite a bit, you don't have to loosen it too much. A little bit is enough. Lift up the car. And the reason why we put it on the ground is, well, of course now it doesn't spin, but normally it would. So let me undo this and we'll continue. Alright, since we already loosened it, I'm just gonna use a 3/8 gun. But it would be this with a 1/2-inch or a 3/4. And if you have a 1/2-inch or a 3/4, you don't gotta take the wheel out or nothing. It just goes right on and takes it out. So our hub is completely loose now. I'm going to undo the brake caliper and the rotor, and then we'll continue. Alright, so these cars, let's see if I can get it. That's the caliper bolt, and then that's the lower caliper bolt. That's all you're gonna take out. Take those two out and then slide the caliper off. Alright, caliper's off, rotor's off. I might get hate for putting it on the floor like that, but dude, the rotor's older than everybody else. So this was already loose, so it came out. However, for you guys' sake, I'm going to show you obviously how to do it. We're gonna go grab our tool of choice. I'll have to undo it. Let me undo it. Okay, so here we have here. This is a hub puller jaw. Jaw puller, hub puller, whatever you want to call it. Very easy tool. Obviously, they come in different sizes. For this one, this is what we're going to use. And all you do is, it's going to be hard to do with one hand. Hold up. One there. Typically want to adjust the length so you can get, you want to get about right there. Let me adjust it. It's hard to do with one hand, I'm sorry guys. There you go. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for the jaws to hold the hub on all 3 ends. You get your gun. A lot of people say don't use a gun. I fucking use a gun, I don't give a shit. Works just fine every time. Slowly tighten it, so hold the jaws. And then this is gonna come out smooth, yours might not. And then you just kind of do that, and then it pulls the whole thing, you get the idea. You know, and then there you go, the hub comes right off. Here is one thing that almost any car does. This inner bearing will get stuck there. If it gets stuck there, don't worry. What you do is, this is the outer one, but I'll give you an idea. I'm putting this in there. If it wants to go on, maybe, yeah, okay, slightly, just like that, gently. These spindles are extremely sensitive. They are known to bend if you put too much pressure on them. So here's what you want to do. Here's what I do. What I do is that you can either chisel it, you can get a grinder and cut this off. Grinder is a lot of people's go-to method, just because it's much faster, much easier. If you do it right, of course, you don't want to cut the spindle itself. Or if you have a smaller one of these, you can take this heat shield off, and kind of, once you take the heat shield off, or the dust shield, I'm so sorry, not heat shield. Let me actually take the shield off and I'll show you that way. All right, 1, 2, 3, there are Allen keys, and then slides right off. Of course, this wasn't supposed to. Let's see if I can get this on. Okay. You want to hammer it, put a flathead, and you can hammer from behind. That's usually people's go-to. And if not, like I said, you can use the jaw pullers to pull it. It shouldn't be too stuck. Sometimes they are. Honestly, I don't want to mislead you guys. But yeah, with the jaw puller or the hammer, grinder, you can heat it up even. It's really up to you. There's different methods, but it's not a terrible job. Anyways, let's take this off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this. I gotta take that out. And then I'm gonna clean this, and we're gonna slap the new one on. So we'll be right back. All right, it's clean. All I did was use a paper towel and wipe it off. You don't have to worry about this backside because the bearing doesn't sit in there, bearing sits in here. Put some anti-seize on a little bit, copper base, nickel base, whatever. I use nickel base. I'll show you what I use. And then it will be good to slap it on. Before I slap it on, depending on the condition, because some people's get rusty and all that, and those are really the ones that are going to give you a hard time. Get like a little scuff pad, or even like a very fine like sandpaper, and you can just kind of rotate it, you know, get the rust off. You're gonna want to get the rust off. So yeah, a little scuff pad, sandpaper. If you have like a rotating tool, like a gasket remover, bzz, you know, do that. Something was rubbing, but let me get the anti-seize and we'll continue. All right, so here's what I use. Worth NI 2400. This is a pure nickel lubricant. It's basically nickel and anti-seize, just like the copper one, but it's made out of nickel. I prefer this one mainly because of the color. Other than that, the properties, I mean, they're almost the same. I highly suggest using these on almost everything. Like anything with a thread that is rusty, I would use this. Lug bolts, lug nuts, you know, little bolts, nuts, whatever it is. This will keep them from corroding and rusting and all that. It's good stuff, honestly. It's lovely stuff. I'll put the link down below for this and some other ones that you can use, a bit more budget friendly. But it's the same. Let me see if I can open it. Comes with a little brush built in. You don't want a lot. I'm gonna put some on the threads, and then sorry, a little bit on the threads, and then just a little bit on. Oh, I said a little bit. I'm gonna have to smear that on. Please, guys. It's 2024, so, you know, don't eat it, don't set it on fire, don't use it as face paint or finger paint or whatever. Don't throw it at your friends or your family. Just brush a little bit on and call it a day. Let me get a paper towel, and then just gonna smear that evenly. Just a little bit, just like that. And there you go. You can even do the bolt side. I'm not gonna, well, I mean, I just did, as I said that. When you thread the bolt on, I'll smear it through the threads. So this stuff is pretty sticky. If you get it on your fingers, wash it out properly. All right, let's go grab that other hub. Whew. Alright, I'm gonna slide it on. Most of you probably will not be able to. I don't think I'll be able to either. If you have a rubber mallet, this is the time to use it. You're basically gonna gently beat it on every side. Don't hit these, don't hit the lug studs. You're gonna pop them out. I know you will. So, oh, I tried. All right, let me beat this in with the mallet, and then we'll continue. There you go, a few gentle taps. I was sitting on the edge, it wasn't really liking that, so I hit it a bit more in the middle. Slid right in. So that is what you want right there. All right, here's the new nut. Hello? There we go. All right, next big question everybody's gonna have. How do I know when it's tight? Well, I hope you have a torque wrench. And if you don't, it's okay. First of all, since it is a hub bolt, you're going to tighten it. That's going to be the last thing you tighten. We're gonna put on we're gonna reassemble everything, put the wheel on, and lower the car. You need to tighten it as the car pressure is on it. So tighten it as much as you can with your fingers. You see there is no finger play right now. So let me get everything on, and then we'll continue from there on. If you don't have your pins, the retainer pins, like I don't, just put 2 lug nuts on it, and it'll be okay. Alright, everything's assembled, the caliper is on, the rotor is on. Let me take these out, put the wheel on it. Alright, so you're not going to lower the car all the way, but you're going to make sure it is putting pressure. We're going to torque it now, and then we're going to lower it all the way and torque it again to make sure that it's good. Alright, so it's time to torque. The one thing about these Volvos is nobody ever seems to know what the actual spec is. There is different speculations, different ideas, different opinions that are thrown in the forums, and unfortunately, it's true. Nobody truly actually knows what the right way is. Maybe some people do. I'm sure there's people, but these are non-serviceable hubs. You just replace the whole thing as one piece. You can't service them. So it's going to be the same as the 850 axle nuts, which is 89 foot-pounds or 121 newton meters, and an additional 60 degrees. Guys, if you don't have a fancy torque wrench like I do, unfortunately I do have a snap-on one with the angle gauge built into it, you can eyeball it. It's not a huge deal. It really isn't. You're just gonna have to eyeball 60 degrees. What you can do is get like a little angle protractor thing and make markings on the wheel 60 degrees apart, set it to that, and then obviously turn. I don't know, get creative with it. Or you can buy an angle gauge, that works too. Or you can use the compass app on your phone, or an angle app, and zip tie your phone on your torque wrench or ratchet, whatever you're using. Unfortunately, in that department, I can't give you too much help. But those are the measurements: 89 foot-pounds or 121 newton meters and 60 degrees. We're gonna do that now as there's slight pressure on there, and then that's really it. I'm not gonna put full pressure onto the wheel since there are degrees involved. But yeah, I mean, that's it. And then once you tighten it, you take the wheel back off, hammer in the new one. Well, this is the old one. I don't know where I put the new one. Somewhere, the new one somewhere. You hammer in the new cap, and then you're done. That's it. You've now successfully changed the 700 or a 900 front hub. Take it for a test drive. Make sure everything is tight. Obviously, I don't gotta say that. You know, don't kill yourselves out there, please. And then that's it. Slip it. You got a slipper. Oh, that's it. Damn, I went up to 135. Sorry. 126. All right. And now, set down the torque wrench. Hit this. Make sure it calculates. There you go. Down to 60 foot-pounds. Or 60 degrees, sorry. Lovely. Make sure your socket doesn't slip. This is important. Start at a good angle. Try to do one time instead of having to crank it back. Oh, 62 degrees. Lovely. Thank you for watching today's video. I have more stuff coming in. I think the next video we're going to make is going to be install the BCs on the 740. I'm going to show you how to take the knuckles out and how to cut them on the right setting and everything. And then how to weld them on. I'm probably not going to showcase actually them getting welded on because I'm taking to a friend of mine. I'll mention in the video. Once again, like, subscribe, leave comments if you have any questions. I'll be putting the links down in the description for all the tools I've used, besides obviously the basics like the hammers and stuff and the hex. Actually, I'll probably put some hex bits and stuff, but yeah, I'll list everything down. Make sure to go check them out by yourself, whatever. This Christmas, Merry Christmas everybody. Merry fucking Christmas. I'm out.